Hi there. I am popping in today because I want to go over a little bit of a new service that I'm going to be offering. So I'm going to open it up here. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, should be good. All right, so if you are here, definitely say hi. Otherwise, I'm going to be sharing this recording afterwards. So let me now share my screen. Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to go with is basically what the service is. So what we're going to be talking about today is online training lessons and whether those are right for you. I would like to, one thing I did want to check on. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. I have not done this as a webinar yet, so this is a little bit different for me. There we go. Okay. All right. So I just want to talk about whether online training lessons are right for you and whether your dog is right for them too. So obviously with the coronavirus, we've been having to make a lot of really big changes. And with the big changes, I am pushing forward hi Katie, I can see you.
Hi, Laura. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, hi, Minnie. I got a yawn. I'm stressing you out, boring you. So I want to talk about the training lessons, and I want to talk about whether it would work for your dog. With the coronavirus stuff that we're going through, obviously I've had to make a lot of changes, and I've had to push them forward and get out of perfectionism. So I'm just going to do that for a sec, Katie, sorry. Just background noise. Okay. So the online training lesson. So I'm going to be mostly using Zoom. I explored the option of Skype and FaceTime and some other stuff, but I am not an iPhone user in any way or a Mac user. So I decided to go with Zoom, and I like the features in it so far. So the online training lesson. So the only things you really need for this, you'll need internet access or unlimited phone data, because your phone data will definitely be used up with these live streams. So I don't want to be responsible for taking all of that, especially at this time. And you will need a webcam or a camera on your phone, definitely. You'll need your dog most of the time, not always, and treats. So those are the four main things that you'll need. And then below in that graphic, I also put down a few things that are recommended, but not necessarily required. So some Bluetooth headphones, enabled headphones. So I had my Bose on today just because it seemed to have the best sound. And then a tripod. So definitely not required, but recommended, because if you're going to be moving around the room a lot for stuff, I definitely would like you to have that option. So, and then what you won't need, you don't need to leave the house. You don't need your shoes. You don't need really advanced technical skills. I am supposed to know more about that than you. So you definitely don't need a lot of advanced tech skills, and then you don't need a babysitter. You know, you can definitely have childcare in place, or you can just have them, watching TV or something. And a lot of the training will involve your kids, depending on what we're working on. So I definitely want that as an option, that they are around if possible. So it's really helpful that you actually don't need that. Okay, so let's see. So then how it works. So first thing I'm going to have you do is go on my website if you're interested in this. You're going to fill out the contact form after. You'll actually get all of these graphics right on there. So, and then you'll fill out the contact form. And then you'll find out if the online training stuff would work for what your dog actually needs. And I'll go over a little bit of what type of training it might not work for, although I think everything is pretty doable. Next, if I think will be a good fit, I'll have you schedule an online form. I'll have you schedule it online yourself for the call, and then fill out the behavior history form for me. And then I will invite you by email. You get an email with all the links and stuff that you'll need to the Zoom meeting at your scheduled time. And then at that point, you'll need to make sure your internet is up and working, and you'll need to make sure your audio is working. And I will actually give you a link for that. It's later in this little presentation, but if you go to zoom.us/test, that is a nice link to test your audio and test your internet and make sure everything's working okay. I actually had to play around with my headphones for a while before this because they were not working, so I'm glad I did that. And then once we have the online consult, the initial one, then I'll just make a package that works for you. And for those of you like Katie, for those of you who are already in the midst of training and this kind of put a halt to everything, obviously, you wouldn't need a new consult or anything like that. We'll just make that work. And then I'm also going to give you the option to submit training videos in advance in case it's something we have to go over, because I can stream that through the screen share here, and I can we can go through that together, or we can just do it all live, and that's fine too. So that's that. All right, so what's included in the remote type training? So we can definitely review the behavior, the video clips, and I can review them prior, or we can do them during. I will do some live demos for you. So I will typically, right now I'm on my computer, but I would typically have my webcam set up as soon as Amazon decides to restock webcams, because of course everybody needs a webcam right now. So they're out. So right now it'll be between my phone and my computer that I'll have those going. And then I will do demos with Willow, or if I happen to have another dog here, I have a dog who's coming to stay with me in a couple weeks, Teddy. Katie, you know Teddy, but I have him coming and I can demo with him. And then I think my favorite part of this whole Zoom thing is that everything's recorded. So this whole thing that we're doing right now is recorded. Everything, it's telling me my connection's unstable. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Everything that we do in the future will be recorded and all that sort of stuff. So I do love that. And then you'll get homework assignments between sessions. So that will be helping you stay on track depending on how often we meet and do this. Email support. I love email. Phone calls are fine, but I have a really hard time tracking everything. So I really like when I can do everything by email. And then Facebook community group, which will be more active, especially with more further distance clients. So we'll get that up and running. And then, so the investment, this is usually what people want to know about. So we've got the initial consult. Typically, I'm going to play around with this a little bit, but typically my initial sessions are at least 2 hours. But in this case, I don't see us being on a call for 2 hours and both of us staying engaged in that. So I would say 90 minutes is more than enough, especially where there's no travel involved and stuff like that. And then follow-up sessions. So I am going to play around with the package pricing depending on how things go, and because we might find that we want to meet more often or have always go over 6 packages or whatever it is. So I might play around with that a little bit, but basically what it will end up breaking down to the same basic cost. So individually, if you pay individually, those would be 30-minute sessions for $45 or 60-minute sessions for $85. What I will say is the 30-minute sessions tends to be more of the manners type training. And then the 60-minute sessions tends to be more of the behavior modification stuff and, problem solving and more discussion. And then I've got 6-pack of 30-minute sessions down here because typically it's a good manners type package, and 4-pack of the 60-minute sessions. So, and then we already talked about that. All right. Any questions? Katie, I think you're the only one actively in here at the moment.
I'm so excited that I figured out Zoom for the first time.
Yeah. I think it's going to be really fun.
Do you want me to ask personal questions now, or wait till
any
packages?
Yeah, you can ask that. So packages for if we're already working.
So if I already sent in exactly we would just started the new session, how would that work out? And I'm sure we can figure that out. That's just my only question.
Yep. So yeah, and I had actually 2 other people that just signed up too. And I was like, do you want to do some Zoom to get started? We can either add them on, and this will be the case for you too. So we could either add on some sessions just to kind of
Yeah.
keep you moving, or we could basically break down some of those day training sessions into, like, maybe we take one of the day training sessions and turn those into like 2 30-minute working
Okay.
sessions through the remote training or something like that. So we can definitely talk about
Okay.
how that would break down. But yeah, no, I think that's going to end up being a really good question going forward,
Okay.
because I think a lot of people will do a combo. If they're local, a lot of people probably do a combo of, in-person training and maybe some remote training.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that will be definitely a very common question.
Okay.
Can I see Minnie's face again?
Very.
Is she there?
I would let you, but I just made Joey take her out for a walk.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll be okay.
That is how we are surviving.
Yes, no, I know. I totally get it. It's quite the change.
I think she might have just eaten the squeaker out of a ball, and I'm waiting for that to show up.
She's you guys are getting some good quality time together.
Yes,
right?
so much quality time.
Yes.
We miss you.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so if you have any other questions, just let me know. But there's one more thing I'll go through. Let me see. I'm going to mute you just for now, but if you have a question, definitely unmute yourself.
I'll mute myself. Yeah.
Okay, so this graphic is something that you will get when we're just about ready to start. So it kind of just goes through some details of like how to prep for the session, especially the first session, until you get used to it. So you'll get this by email shortly before the sessions due to start. Just going through, are you ready to Zoom? Okay, so you're ready to start. So you'll find a personal link in your email, and I want to make sure that that'll come to you way before Amazon's showing up. Amazon does still deliver right now, but they deliver craft things, I guess. So my dog might start barking, so I apologize. Anyways, you'll find your personal link in your email. So with any personal instructions, so that's also where I'll say like have a leash handy, or bring some really special treats of some sort, or if we were doing like muzzle training or something, make sure you have your muzzle and stuff like that. Let your family know when you're starting. So like with my kids right now, my husband actually is working from home this afternoon, so he is here working on his computer, but I also had the kids set up downstairs because obviously, where you guys don't need childcare, I also don't have childcare. So I have them set up down there. And they're pretty good with that sort of stuff. So, and then as far as scheduling goes, some of it would be, depending on what we're working on, some of it would be, when my husband's home. Other times I might let them watch a super special show. So being really proactive, just like training our dogs, right? Give them a stuffed Kong. So anyways, and we'll actually get to that for the dogs too. So take your dog out for a potty break before we start. I could see that as maybe being like oops, I didn't realize she had to go. I took her out like 2 hours ago, that sort of thing. So you want to make sure you give them plenty of time outside before. Have plenty of Cheerio size treats handy. So a lot of times we use a lot of treats for a situation like this. So having a medley of higher and lower value stuff would be great. Prep a busy toy for your dog. So that's where the stuffed Kong or the lick mat would come in handy. And let's see. Oh, there she is. Hi, Minnie. Hi, pretty girl. I love it. Anyways, check to make sure your internet's working. Okay, so like I said, that link that I will provide in the next slide, I believe, or I will link to it again. You can use that to make sure your internet's working, so don't use up all your data. Try to minimize distraction and background noise as much as possible. I have 2 birds, and so they are downstairs with the kids right now, because as soon as they hear me talking, they start squawking. So, and then if you've never used Zoom before, I will also have a link that you'll get in your email. That's a demo. And I think the biggest thing with all of this, and I had to learn to get past it myself, is don't worry about what your house looks like. Don't worry about what you look like. You can wear pajama bottoms. I don't care. It's about your dog. Okay. This is function over fashion. Okay. None of the other stuff matters. A lot of times, a lot of people get stuck on, not wanting to do video stuff because they're worried about that sort of thing. So that's that. So let's see, if Katie, if you have any other questions, you can unmute yourself. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up and then I will put out the recorded version of this.
Nope, I have no more questions.
No. Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll chat more about, how to break down the actual session so that we can work on that sort of stuff. But
thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for working so hard on all this.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm hoping that it'll get us through.
Yeah.
Through all of this mess.
Craziness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. All right. I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye.